What's up, gang? Just had to make a run here to grab some breakfast burritos. Took the speed down, but we're running right behind Gecko Road, and I'm gonna jump in the Pro R and drive them back to back. It's rougher than normal here, and I'm really excited to see because the Pro R just got dialed in from MTS suspension. We got the new shock forks, the bigger front shock shafts. We've got new valving, new spring rates according to what I like. Talking to Ned and the gang over there, limit straps. So I've been talking a lot about this. Now, once this thing is resprung and revalved, how does it compare? So we're gonna go run back to back all throughout the weekend. Here's my first taste. So this is definitely a trip that I was excited to go on to see how the Razor performed with the upgraded suspension compared to the Speed, because I've been raving about the Speed suspension. It does have a little bit of advantage because they had the upgraded springs. So now this is a real apples to apples comparison. So we did run along down the backside there of Gecko, and then ran a bunch of other spots back to back. But after that, had some issues. Unfortunately, here's some footage of the Speed. We took a ride out to the swing set. Unfortunately, I broke an axle, as you can see here, and not only did it break, but it came apart here at the hub, so we had to remove the axle in the dunes. The dunes were rougher than I've ever seen them, I would say. I felt the same thing over New Year's. It's just been really rough. I don't think there's been big sandstorms to clear it out. A lot of traffic, still wet on the bottom, but good place to test suspension for sure. So I definitely like the improvements MTS made to the Pro R, much better small bump compliance. We decided to go a little bit on the softer side for everyday riding, and then we could, lower the lower the crossover rings, and then we've got the oh crap button in the dunes. And that's really what I think was the logical way to do it, because we go to the dunes a few times a year, but we ride in all different types of conditions. I really wanted that plush, gooey feeling that the Speed has, so I was pretty stoked on it. And I think at a certain point you can just drive the car really hard and maybe just slow down and not hit those G outs so forcefully, and have a happy compromise. Say hi. Saturday, President's Day. Unfortunately, Speed's acting up, transmission on its way back to Havasu, but got to drive the Pro R with the MTS stuff. Car's really good. Power's good. This is about 3 o'clock on Saturday. It's pretty packed here. It's packed as I've seen in a while. It seemed like it's been kind of a quiet weekend, but good weather. Just fortunately a couple car troubles. Had an axle, then had the transmission. So what can I say, guys? I'm trying, but really excited that my broski Wes let me drive the Pro R here for a bit. Earlier in the weekend, we were doing some content for Method and Tensor. We're running 2 different paddles. These are brand new Price wheels. On the same paddles as my Speed, which are comp cut STU Blackbird 32s with comp cut big T-bows. So it's a real blissful ride. We got the car dialed. The MTS stuff is working really well. So I'm enjoying playing with the different power modes, the different suspension modes, and we'll talk more about that later. But in the meantime, man, good vibes out here in G, and we're gonna drive as much as we can and make up for lost time. All right, so even though I had issues with the Speed, I want to give a big shout out to my buddy Wes. We called Speed. They were able to take the car on Saturday that day, and they got me a new transmission in 48 hours. But as apples to apples comparison, even when we do get the Speed key, I want to say power-wise, it's going to be very close to a stock Pro R. I say that because the Speed is heavier. You're going to have to clutch it. I mean, unfortunately, I was only hitting 7,500 RPM with the Speed, so I think you're gonna have to probably get the clutching optimized for the Speed key, and you're still probably not gonna have the torque that the Pro R has. This is just my assumption. That low down torque, that 4-cylinder torque, makes duning awesome. All of you Pro owners know, especially in the race mode, it's really good. So that's my prediction of how it's gonna feel speed wise. I think I can still keep up on rides in the Speed, but honestly I was able to drive a lot more aggressively in the Pro R, especially when you add the suspension. Now, I have stiffened up my Speed suspension for the dune trips, and I rave about the suspension, the small bump compliance. It's really awesome on the hard pack, but here for the dunes, it definitely blows through the stroke and is soft. You pretty much need to go with a stiffer spring rate. I think that softness is really exacerbated in the dunes with the weight of the Speed. So setting the car up differently for the dunes, I think, is important to optimize the experience. And when you have the live valve, you can just push some buttons and maybe lower your crossover rings like MTS suggests. It's, as an overall vehicle, it makes the Pro R impossible to beat. The Pro R is just really good. I still prefer how the Speed handles. The small bump compliance I still think is better. There's a lot of things about the Speed, and a lot of you guys bought the Speed mainly for the hard pack. But of course I was hoping to have it, you know, to work well in all situations, and unfortunately, you know, I'm a little sour because the last 2 trips on a tow rope, but the Speed's weight is really what unfortunately hinders the performance out in the sand.